Live streamed, yeah. So you got that going.
Starting 5:04, so I guess we are.
What's that? McConnell?
The section's off Sparks.
Um,
Hello, folks online. Can you hear us okay? Rob, I can see you on the screen. Yeah, get the way. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Yep, just about ready to get started.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe we can start the regular public meeting of the Board of Education for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Oh, Mike, you have your hand up. Are you not hearing us?
I am hearing you, but it showed the pop-up saying that we were live streaming and I can't find it.
Carol?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The live stream
Live
on
stream.
our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm there.
You doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and you don't, and yeah, you don't need it live streamed yourself, Mike. You're participating.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, I've got two computers going here and I'm looking for the live stream on YouTube and I can't find it.
Okay, I'll give you a moment to look, but you should be able to participate just this way.
It's working already.
It says it's working live here at our end. Carol's got it. I'm gonna let you play with it for a bit and then we can problem solve more maybe. So I would like to start the meeting by acknowledging with respect the lands on which we live, work, play, and learn as the traditional and unceded territories of the Gitxsan, Haisla, Nisga'a, and Tsimshian peoples. We're honored to work with their children and privileged to live on these lands. We also have Trustee Julia coming in from Prince George with the, oh shoot, lost it again, Clately Lenni people. So we're blessed to and honored to be working there. I always find when we do the acknowledgements, it's time to reflect and think about what we've read or been learning in terms of as we move towards all of us with reconciliation, as we learned at our workshop a few weeks ago. And so the thought that I had was that when most of you know, I was just in Scotland and I could not resist going into the Children's Museum and seeing all the old toys and things like that. And I reflected on the Education Act in Scotland started in 1908, and it gave school boards the responsibility for health and welfare of all pupils. And this included medical inspections and the provision of school meals. And it made me think about what we're doing with school meals right now. And we're still, since 1908, working to ensure children, and with our strategic plan and our implementations, that all children are healthy and safe. It also said in 1872, it was made compulsory for 5 to 13-year-olds to attend school. So changes have happened in that it's now choice, but there was some times of compulsory education, and it made me think about our children who are not attending school and how our staff are working hard to get them into school. So those were my thoughts when I was thinking about our acknowledgement and education. We extend a warm welcome to everybody who's joined our meeting via Zoom. We are live streamed on the YouTube channel, and Mike will let us know how he does with that. I'm Margaret Workham, I'm your school board chair, and I'll ask, we'll go this way.
Karen Youngman, I'm a trustee for Kitimat.
And I'll go this way.
Wayne Jones, trustee for Stewart.
Okay, and Ed, you're first up on the screen for me.
Ed Harrison, trustee for Terrace.
Sunny.
Sunny Duncan Green, trustee for Kitimat.
And Julia.
Julia Sundell, trustee for Hazelton.
Okay, and I'll ask Aaron to introduce himself, and where's Mike? Now, I see you now, Mike. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Mike Maxim, trustee for Thornhill.
Welcome all, and I'll go to Aaron for introductions.
Aaron Callahan, Coast Mountain School District Superintendent, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening. And lots of our staff members are in the room, and I'm going to start to my right.
Namaste, good afternoon. I'm Carol Daniel, Executive Assistant. Yes, I'm Ginger Fuller, Secretary Treasurer.
Namaste, my name is Julian Fuss, Director of Instruction and Sports.
Namaste, Geraldine Muller, Director of Instruction, Graduation and Innovation.
Good evening, good afternoon.
And one on screen, I believe.
Yes, go ahead, Rob.
Good evening. I am Rob Shibley, and I'm the Director of Facility Services for the district.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. And I'd like to welcome Jocelyn and Terry, who are our CMFT co-presidents. And I'm very pleased to introduce Troy Peters, who's our Terrace DPAC representative. Today, well, for October 5th, we're preparing that it's World Teachers Day celebration was held October 5th, spanning the globe, touching over 100 countries on its course. Coast Mountain School District recognized the important impact teachers have on our society. The Board of Education and School District 82 are proud partners of our dedicated teachers, and we support their outstanding efforts. Teachers are on the front lines of building a better tomorrow, imparting the values, education, and understanding needed to allow our young people to reach their dreams and goals. Teachers carry an important responsibility that extends past academia. Fostering a positive, enriching environment for their students goes hand in hand with instilling knowledge. The support, guidance, and example teachers provide for our young people is far-reaching and exceptionally vital as our youth develop into future leaders in our communities. The influence this profession has on the future solidifies its importance to all, and Coast Mountain School District recognizes the contribution of all teachers make towards the overall well-being of our students, families, and communities. We would like to share a video about the history and the celebration of World Teachers Day that was established in 1994 by UNESCO, a global event to be recognized and celebrated each year on October 5th. All yours.
If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes. A quote from Guy Kawasaki, marketing specialist, author, and venture capitalist. That statement reinforces the importance of teachers to society as a whole. Without teachers and their drive to educate the next generation, we would never be moved forward. In 1994, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, launched a global event to be recognized and celebrated every October 5th called World Teachers Day. World Teachers Day is held on the anniversary of the 1966 UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of teachers around the world. It set the standards addressing the rights and responsibilities of teachers and has been considered crucial in promoting the importance of teachers' status in quality education. The goal of World Teachers Day is to aim focus on appreciating, assessing, and improving the educators of the world and to progress the calling forward. So next October 5th, remember your favorite teacher or an educator in your life. It can be as simple as writing a heartfelt thank you card, but those simple acts can go a long way in showing your appreciation. And that's a quick lesson on Today in History. Please like and subscribe.
Thank you. So we'll move on with the agenda. We have a quorum, and I'm now asking for an approval of the agenda. And I so move. Karen, seconder. Wayne. Any questions, additions? All in favor of the agenda? Passed. Thank you. Next is 5.1, the summary of the in-camera meeting, September 27th, 2023. May I have a motion to accept this? Karen? Second, Ed? All in favor? Pass, thank you. There was no business arising from the minutes to report. There has been no correspondence, so we can move to the Superintendent of Schools monthly report for October. All yours.
Great, thank you. So thank you, Chair. So when I have an opportunity to share, I like to share a few of the highlights from the monthly report. So the month of October 2023. Just to highlight on the first page, a message from the superintendent that since our last meeting from September 25th to 29th, we participated as a district and recognized the Truth and Reconciliation Week all around the district. And lots of reports in schools of classroom conversations and school-wide assemblies to continue the learning around the experience of Indigenous peoples with Canada's residential schools. Had the opportunity myself personally to be at Hazelton Secondary School for their school-wide assembly, and I just made a note of that there, and it was a very moving afternoon at Hazelton Secondary School, and it was highlighted near the end of the session with both Principal Louise Ormerod and Carol Bob, along with the support of a staff member in having their heads partially shaved in honor of relatives who have participated in residential schools, as well as Principal Ormerod with her own personal experiences. So just wanted to highlight that in the monthly report. Also acknowledgement in the opening letter around some of our transportation issues that we've been having already, unfortunately, so far this year, highlighting some concerns that we've had with the communities of Thornhill and Gitsigutla in particular. Do want to highlight that lots of conversations, I think daily are happening, to be honest, daily are happening with Diversified Transportation, our partner in transportation, who are experiencing, like a lot of industries, are experiencing workforce issues. And so there is a link in the monthly report to anyone in our communities who know of someone who is, of course, a responsible adult and may be interested in and able to work for Diversified in support of transporting our students safely to and from school. Finally, on the first page, page 14 of the package, just a reminder again that Coast Mountain School District has established the Northwest Communities Student Support Fund, and it is a $250,000 fund that is meant to support families with the costs related to their children's experience in school and extracurriculars related to school-based events. And that fund already has been greatly accessed during the month of September. And so the more information is available through all of our schools, but also online through our website. Page 15 is an opportunity again to speak to the fact that the board's visionary plan, which is Engage, Ignite, Empower, does direct the work at the highest levels of our school district. And so a few examples that are happening already this year in relation to the three overarching goals. The first goal is all students realizing their full potential. There have been lots of professional learning that's been happening through in-service in our K-3 schools. In fact, between 30 to, probably by this point, between more like 40 to 50 teachers have been participating in some of the professional learning that's been going on with the support of coach, teacher Laura Gray, and district principal Tina McDonald. Second goal, honoring and respecting culture, diversity, and inclusion, highlights September 22nd, our non-instructional day in the district. And district-wide, all employees participated at either in person at REM Lee Theater and Caledon Secondary School or virtually in our Reconciliation event. And so I think we've thrown out props, especially to our Indigenous Education Department, who worked so hard to plan that day and make it such a success for all of our staff. And finally, the facilitating well-being across the district. It is a chance to highlight that in the last month, we've shared school nutrition standards and some visual tools with schools in support of those conversations around student food programming. And so special acknowledgement there to Shauna Wilson, who has been leading the working group and doing a lot of the work in relation to food programming. On page 16, I'm not going to really speak to it other than the fact that we've highlighted in the report that the All Our Relations Working Group planning is being laid out now with a start on December 8th with the support of NISHCA Superintendent Jill Jensen. And so there'll be more information that will come, including invitations for participation in the All Our Relations Working Group. We are on the verge of having our first reporting periods in all of our schools around the district. And so it's also a chance to highlight that we are expecting some changes to the K-12 student reporting. Teachers and administrators are very involved in the process of learning what those changes look like and making sure their practices reflect the expectations provincially around that new reporting order. For the parent community, there is a link there to some great resources on the provincial website, which includes video, print documents, and slideshows with lots of information about what they can expect with regards to their children's reporting happening in the next month or so. And as always, lots of things happening on our social media feeds for the district. We probably don't spend enough time celebrating all the great things that do happen in all of our schools and in every one of our classrooms. So through our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we try to do our very best to highlight some of those stories happening around the district. And there are a few of them that were shared this month that were highlighted on the last page. I think we're approaching 100,000 followers on Twitter. No, I'm just kidding. We're not around 100,000. We may be around 100 or 200, but we are certainly trying to grow our following, and we use those feeds to communicate those great stories. So I encourage anyone to find their favorite platform and follow us. Thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion that the superintendent of schools monthly report to the regular board meeting of October 25th, 2023 be received as presented? Somebody so moved. Thank you, Julia. Second? Sunny, thank you. I can't write and look at the same time here. Thank you. Yeah. Any questions for the superintendent? All in favor of receipt? Pass. Thank you. We'll now move to our Indigenous education report, which is on pages 18 to 20. All yours.
Yes, thank you. It's challenging to honor and convey the work that our district team and our support workers are involved in. As we're engaging in transformative change with the focused approach, both comprehensive and research-based approach to ensuring that Indigenous learners are both growing their capacity to plan and how they think about their progress, their growth, and also being an active participant in that. And it aligns with the reporting order and around the core competencies that they're having additional conversations with our support workers in schools, so that each Indigenous student are involved in planning for their success. But I wanted to actually speak to the visit that we had to Stewart. And Wayne, I think that I would be talking about the lovely lunch that he prepared for us, but it was actually his wife, Terry Scott's friend, all the educators that we actually met, that really lifted our hearts. But it was in Terry's room where one of the children got up to count Niska and use the calendar, and with her pointer went about doing that, and it was just a way to see that the language was being honored in such a way, and watching Beverly in action with those young children and the sense of joy in that one just sort of reminds us that we're engaged and doing great work. I also would like to, honor and the new relationship that is, we're developing with Anna Ashley, who's really enhancing our work and approach to ensuring that teachers are supported in the work that they're doing. And she has been, busy with recommending resources and collecting resources, as well as recommending resources for teachers to use on Indigenous Veterans Day. And also acknowledging our outreach workers, both Stephanie and Tammy Bully, who are providing students who have disengaged. And I can say that there were an instance of a family displaced by fire who didn't have housing, who was out on the street. And as long as the plan includes the re-engagement to why we are doing this in support of ensuring that those learners are getting back into schools, their efforts do not go unnoticed, and they go the extra mile. And so I just, I keep hearing stories of the work that they are doing, and also the impact they're having from other people who are very appreciative for them adding to that circle of care. Like Erin mentioned, our launch a little bit, later, we were wanting to ensure that there was a good way to start in terms of being inclusive for this community that we're trying to build, which recognizes that while we're on the lands and the unceded territories of the Tsimshian, Haisla, the Niska, and the Gitxsan peoples, that we are on surface to diverse peoples who call this home. And I know that there's new legislation afoot to create new pathways for ways that boards of education will be working with Indigenous education councils. And all our relations working group is meant to ensure that we are creating an inclusive space, so that we hear and have diverse input into the hopes and dreams, the visions, the desired states, but also as a result of that, having a place to articulate and decide and make decisions about how we will work together and walk alongside each other to continue to create impact. So I'm really looking forward to this work, and this is both the work of learning and listening and receiving, and there's a very rich menu ahead. And because of all of that work, the offer to launch the shared learning circles will have to be delayed, because there was a lot on the plate, and I tend to take on a lot, and I want to staff have to do what's realistic so we can do it well. The other thing that I would like to highlight is that there have been other districts, including Prince Rupert, who back in 2012 sent a contingency of Indigenous educators to New Zealand to look at their language programs. And hearing back from the district principal of Prince Rupert, the reason that they are in the place where they are with such a rich language program that is locally inspired and contextualized, because of the learning that they went and did with the Maori relatives in New Zealand. So we're really excited that we're going to be bringing 3 people from the department, as well as 3 of our Indigenous administrators across the district to New Zealand in mid-November. The series is really focused on around providing a look into the schools and education and classrooms that have language and culture at the center and the curriculum wrapped outside that. And it is an approach that is, unique to the way that we attend to curriculum and language and culture here. So I'm really looking forward to going to learn in that respect and bringing back our knowledge and sharing and using that to engage in these brave conversations that we need to have in order to continue to develop this way of not just working together, but to be inspired to continue on enhancing the way that we are working. So that is my
Okay. I have a motion that the board receive for information the Indigenous Education Report for October 2023. Someone so move. Ed. Second. Wayne, any questions? All in favor of receipt? Pass. Thank you. We'll now move to the standing committee reports, and we'll go to Trustee Ed Harrison for 10.1. All yours, Ed.
Thank you, Margaret. The first order under the business committee is to accept the minutes of the business committee meeting held October the 11th, 2023, be received for information.
Seconder.
Need a seconder?
Yeah. Karen, thank you. All in favor? Pass. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item under the Business Education Committee is the Ministry of Education Data Management 1701 Preliminary Report. The attached Ministry of Education and Childcare Data Management 1701 ECHO report dated September the 30th, 2023 for Coast Mountain School District details the preliminary student head count and student full-time equivalent FTEs count for the funding purposes as of September the 29th, 2023. Public school districts were required to submit their 1701 preliminary reports on October the 6th, 2023 to the Ministry of Education and Childcare. The information collected on Form 1701 is used in the calculation of the FTE students for the public schools. The FTE values are then used to determine funding levels for these schools. This information is also used to monitor various enrollment trends in programs offered by BC schools. The Ministry of Education and Childcare then processes the 1701 preliminary data received and provides school districts with an ECHO report detailing any potential errors for resolution. School districts must then provide any resolutions by October the 20th, 2023 to the ministry for the completion of the 1701 verification report and final sign-off. The Business Committee discussed the preliminary report at its October 11th, 2023 meeting and forwards to the Board of Education for information. The recommended action is that the board receive for information the Ministry of Education and Childcare Data Management 1701 preliminary report reflecting students eligible for funding as at September 29th, 2023.
A seconder, please. Julia, thank you. Any questions on the report, clarifications? All in favor? Passed. Thank you. We can now move to the Education Committee report 10.2 on page 34.
The first item, 10.2.1. Oh, hang on, 10.2.1. Yeah, that's correct. We have the Education Committee meeting minutes for the meeting that was held October 11th. You can find that on pages 34 to 43. Like to submit these for information.
Seconder for receive. Thank you, Wayne. Any questions? All in favor? Pass. Thank you.
Right, next item. We have board approval in principle, 10.2.2. It's level 5 field trips. Okay, the first one. Yeah, in accordance with policy 1080, field trips and outdoor education, board approval in principle is required for all level 5 field trips prior to initiating, planning, or fundraising, and prior to promoting with students or the community. Level 5 field trips encompass all trips regardless of the duration of the travel outside of the provincial and national jurisdiction. Final board approval is required for all level 5 field trips with the submission of the completed field trip application to the board within the following timelines. A, within Canada is 60 days. B, international is 120 days. The attached board approval in principle submissions are presented to the board for approval, including a synopsis or summary of the respective level 5 field trip is also provided as attached. The first one is an out of province field trip, Caledonia Secondary School Music Group, Cantando Festival in Edmonton, Alberta, and that is in April 12th to 17th, 2024. And the second out of country field trip, Caledonia Secondary School Travel Club. It's a grand tour of Italy, and that is planned to happen spring break 2025, a 12-day tour. Okay, the Education Committee reviewed the above-mentioned field trip submissions for board approval in principle at its October 11th, 2023 meeting and forwards to the board with a recommendation for approval. So there's 2 motions here. Okay, the recommended action is that the board approves in principle the Caledonia Secondary School Music Group's out of province field trip to the Cantando Festival, Edmonton, Alberta, April 12th to 17th in 2024.
A seconder for the motion. Thank you, Wayne. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Passed.
Okay, the second one is the recommended action that the board approve in principle the Caledonia Secondary School Travel Club's out of country field trip to Italy, spring break 2025.
Karen so moves. The seconder. Wait. Oh. Any questions? All in favor? Passed.
Okay, the next item, 10.2.3. That's the 2023-2024 draft school improvement plans. You can find that on page 49 in your package. So we need a motion for acceptance.
You so moved.
So moved.
Karen, yeah. The board approved the 2023-2024 school improvement plans, which are all up on the district website for everybody to read and consider. A seconder for the motion. Thank you, Ed. Any questions on the school improvement plans? Mike, I think your hand is up. Oh, and you're on mute.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to last year's school improvement plans?
Last year's plans, we had them last year, presented to the board and approved them. Are they still up on the website or not? I don't know.
No, they would be removed. Yeah.
They were removed from the website.
Mike, I would say probably a lot of the plans that that take place in schools, in a lot of cases, they're multi-year plans. So they work that happens in 1 year often helps the school transition into a plan the following year. I would say that some of our principals and vice principals at the end of the last year participated in a little bit of professional learning around transitioning to a new school improvement planning process. And the rest of our schools are transitioning over the course of this year. So some plans probably that were nearing the end of completion last year, and this is maybe the final year of those plans. Whereas a few schools, Bear Valley happened to be one that presented in our education committee meeting, had embraced the new process, which I think was described really by Principal Jocelyn Drew as being a little bit more authentic and meaningful to staff. It was something that was data informed and something that was probably driven by adult learning in the service of kids. And so that is one of the plans that was transitioned in look and feel for the 23-24 school year. And it just so happens that in November, when we bring our principals and vice principals together in Thornhill for a day of professional learning, school improvement planning is again on the agenda, and that'll be some part of a half-day session that will be led by Director Geraldine Lawler and with support of several principals who will engage in sharing a little bit about their own school process. So thank you for the question.
Any further questions? All in favor? Passed. Thank you, Karen. Next is page 50 to 52, a new business, a letter of support for the UNBC Northern Cohort Bachelor of Education degree program. We started to hear, as trustees, about this request from the Northern Interior and the Northern Northwest branch. That's all of us trustees working together in that there's been some lobbying to UNBC to do a hybrid Bachelor of Education degree program that is specific to allowing access in various communities throughout the North. And to do this, UNBC in their strategic plan has committed to working on this and requires or would find it helpful to have a letter of support from all the different school districts to go through the approval process to get the course in place. So this is a request that that the board receive their letter of support for the University of Northern British Columbia's UNBC's proposed Northern Cohort Bachelor of Education degree program that's attached in your agendas. I need a, I'll move that. We need a seconder. Karen. Any questions on the program? It sounds very exciting in terms of being hybrid. It really depends on getting through the process of approving the course. And I don't know, I looked at other educators who may have done that through the universities. It takes a while sometimes to go through the licensing boards and things like that to get it done. So we'll push as much as we can, but I didn't get a timeline. Did you?
It depends on the approval. Yeah, they did say there's an outside chance for next fall, but more than likely the following fall.
So we will send that letter. All in favor of sending the letter? Thank you. Passed. The next is my board chair report, which is attached for receipt of information. And I have two things just to add to it. As was shared with trustees after my report was written, we did have a board chair meeting in Victoria where we met with all of our MLAs. I sadly say our local MLAs were not there and did not attend, so I didn't get to chat with them, but we had 3 areas that we were to talk about. One was recruitment and retention. The other was buildings, maintenance, and costs of our infrastructure. Of course, I lost the third one. Oh, the fun, student outcomes. Shoot, right at that. Getting to the end of the evening. So I did have the opportunity, though, to speak with Honorary Katrina Conroy, who I worked with in previous life in terms of childcare, and really nudged her. And she encouraged, as did some of our speakers, that when they do the next finance committee reviews, where they tour the province and ask for funding, that as school boards, we should be doing a presentation. So as trustees, we'll keep that in mind, because it is an election year coming up. So I have no idea when they're going to do the next budget stuff. I also got to speak with Honorable Jennifer Whiteside, and she is coming to Terrace. So I am asking our staff to see if we can have her either meet with us or talk with us in terms of what's going to happen with mental health. I understand she will be announcing a few mental health things for our community. So, but let's lobby her for what we can do for mental health that way. And then I did have, and I'm biased, I'll admit, time with Shirley Bond, who's in the opposition. And I celebrated with her, not the 3 items we were talking about, her trustees had pushed through with that. I'm really impressed with the new strategic plan for UNBC and how we can work together for students, and it was out. So because UNBC and Shirley and I worked on UNBC many years ago, we had a good chat about that and how education can happen. So what I'm going to suggest is, as trustees, we consider meeting with our MLAs that didn't show up to chat with the chairs in the future when we can, and provide that messages that, you know, they were too busy to come for lunch with us. So I would like to move that the board receive for information my board chair's report and the addenda that I just shared. Karen? Great. Okay. Any questions for myself? Julia, go ahead.
I was just wondering, do you know why they didn't show up, Margaret? That seems really strange and concerning.
Yeah, well, I think Ellis is not in attendance. So to be honest, I don't know where his health is in attendance, because he's had some challenges. And Nathan Cullen, he was in the legislature when we were there. And I'll have to share, we all walked up the 3 flights of stairs to watch the question period, and then they did the provincial shakeout, and we had to all walk down the stairs and back up again, but we all participated and learned the process. Why Nathan didn't show up because he was there, I don't know, but I'd like to ask him.
Thank you.
Any other questions on my report? Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to the BCSTA Provincial Council report. And would you like to present that, Julia?
I'm sure. I think it's super thorough, though, so I don't know that I have anything to add to it. Maybe I should be a little more succinct in the future, but it was an interesting meeting. It was very well attended, and unfortunately, we had to move from the SFU campus and the Center for Dialogue to the Fairmont due to the strike, so that kind of hindered dialogue, but it was still excellent meeting.
Okay, so you so move that the board receive for information your BCSTA Provincial Council report as presented at our October 25th meeting.
Yes.
Julia so moved. Seconder for receipt of her report. And Ed, thank you. Any questions for Julia? This is good preparation for the upcoming provincial meetings where we'll all be attending and looking at advocacy and where we're going in the province. Any questions? If not now, I know as our rep on the BCSTA Council, Julia welcomes any inputs or questions so that we can go forward. Okay, all in favor? Passed. So we now move to trustee reports. And does anybody have any reports they wish to share? Mike, I think your hand is up. I can only see you partially on the screen there. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, attended the decision-making onboarding thing, and question has been asked and answered definitively. Role of trustees is governance. We have one employee, and our role is to govern our employee.
Other trustee reports? Ed?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that the Caledonia Band is having a concert tonight. So if you're out and about, it would be worthwhile attending.
What time?
7:30.
7:30, I think. Yeah. Any other trustees wish to report? Yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention what a pleasure it was to tour some of our Kitimat schools this last week with Aaron Callahan and Sunny Duncan Green. It was great. The kids were happy, friendly, chatty. We got to go participate in a music class, and we went to KCH, and they're making was it Margaret? Like yeah, cottonwood balm. They were making it. They poured it, and they gave us a sample. So that's pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet, but it was great. Just happy, chatty students. That's just like what we like to see. It was really enjoyable.
And I can share, I went with our superintendent to Cassie Hall in Caledonia the other day and also saw some amazing students and things happening in the classrooms. That was great. Other trustees, anything to share? If not, I can have a question period. I didn't have any questions submitted ahead of time. So we are ready to move. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Hi, not much of a question, but more of a statement. I haven't been in contact with all the DPACs. The ones that I have talked to, Front Center has been the busing issue. I just wanted to bring that up. And the best way to educate students is to actually get to the school. So that should be the number one. Anyways, that's just my comment.
Thank you for sharing. Other comments? A motion to adjourn. Aaron, yeah, thank you. Adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you all. Take care.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.